My first question for you is actually, how did you get your start in acting?
How did I get my start in acting? Well, I grew up kind of class clown, center of attention kind of guy. So was always sort of performing and did musical theater in high school because my older cousin did, who was my best friend at the time. And I kind of did whatever she did. Gina Morrissey, shout out. And after that, I kind of would just always do acting classes in school as, for an easy credit. And then I moved down to North Carolina and I did a play. And off that play, I got signed. And that's kind of when I realized the potential of the industry and the whole world and kind of ran with it.
And with your work in North Carolina, how did that prepare you for your work in television?
My work in North Carolina really helped me prepare for television for a few reasons. That's where a lot of my audition training sort of started, and that's where I started climbing the ladder. So extra background, one line to one scene, sort of hit every level. And then by the time I got here, I was just really grateful for that process, being seeing every version of every stage versus jumping right to here, just really gives me an appreciation for sort of everybody that's a part of all the things that we put together.
And you were born in Alexandria, Egypt, and grew up in Westchester, Pennsylvania.
I
What was
did.
something that you would like people to know about these two places and cultures?
Okay. Well, Alexandria, Egypt, where I was born, and would travel, almost every summer, every other summer until about 2010 when the revolution happened. My favorite part about the culture in Egypt is the praying 5 times a day. The whole entire country and the world around you stops for 5 times a day. And if if you know how to pray, you pray, but really you're mindful for these 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and you got to kind of come off of that energy 5 times a day. And I was always really obsessed with how soothing and how therapeutic that kind of is, and was always interested if it could work in this country, but I'm not sure it could. But and then Westchester, Pennsylvania, home of QVC, is a really great place, about 45 minutes outside of Philly. So, you kind of get the suburbs and you get the horses and you get the farms, but you also get kind of the urban vibe too. So it's a great little town and I recommend visiting both.
And fans can tell from your Instagram account that you're heavily into fitness. How has your love for fitness benefited you as an actor?
My love for fitness has benefited me as an actor greatly. I was about 100 pounds overweight and lost some weight and got into acting, and then realized that the financial benefit to me becoming more fit and the ability to play more roles was only a good thing. So I kind of made a correlation between acting and fitness in the way of, I feel like we always sit there and say, if I could get paid to work out, I would. And I kind of was able to mentally make that correlation where I will get paid if I do transform my body into, hopefully something along the lines of a superhero and getting a superhero role. And I think that paycheck should back pay all the way until the day I started.
Absolutely. And how has your bicultural background influenced your work?
Greatly. My bicultural background has influenced my work greatly. In the beginning, was definitely typecasted and very okay with that, playing the bad guys and playing some terrorists and things like that. I think there, from an acting perspective, there's a duty and a job there, which is exciting. But then moving into this character was really exciting because we got to sort of start from the ground up, making a protagonist, Arab American Muslim character for the first time as a lead, and one that's playing one and is one. So it was really nice to get to bring in a lot of things from my real life to the character as a result of that character really not existing before. So, on top of just getting the role and getting to dive in and getting to up the acting responsibility, it was really nice to be able to grab from reality and the two parallels of me as myself and my character.
And with your role on FBI, you are the first Arab American Muslim playing an Arab American Muslim hero in television. How does it feel to say that?
It feels great. It's amazing. It's an honor. I don't have any children, but I relate it to kind of having a kid. I didn't know if I was ready for something of this level and this gravity, but it was put in my hand, and with the help and the trust of the people around me, I feel like we've really gotten sort of more comfortable and familiar with the whole process, and seeing how it's affecting people and people reaching out, and knowing that what we're trying is kind of working, and it isn't just a missed cause. So it really helps me get up every day and just put everything into this.
And in time, you discussed being Muslim American and being able to play a hero on television. In what way do you want to see Islam represented in American media?
Yeah, I mean, I think we want everybody that has a culture or a society that is being represented poorly, or the most intense version of that religion, or the extremists of these cultures and religions are being sort of personified on television and media. And it's so simple. It's just, that's not the reality. And when it comes down to kind of putting an entire culture into a corner and labeling them bad when it comes to producing content, you're taking out the ability for so many stories, and through different perspectives. And at the end of the day, especially in today's world with so many outlets and so many things, if you shut down an entire positive side of a culture or a story, then you're just not doing justice to the audience, and to the people, and to the art. So for me, I think there's bad and good to every group of people, every side of the conversation. So I just think it's really important and really exciting to kind of get to jump in and be a part of pushing the needle, and telling these stories through different perspectives.
And for someone who's interested in getting involved in acting, what advice would you give them to avoid being ethnically typecast?
Well, as an ethnically typecasted actor who has kind of really sort of embraced that, my note about typecasting is people will be typecasted until society deems it inappropriate. And it's going to be, a necessary evil as time goes on, because we have to tell the stories of the reality of what's happening. So if these are the bad guys in our world, then we have to use them as bad guys, and fair enough. So, my thing is, I was very excited about the potential work from being typecasted that got me into it, because, I was going up as a 6'5" Egyptian boy, going up against, the Caucasian line and the African American line, for all of these roles that can be played by anybody. So there wasn't, you're not a big fish until you get some things under your belt. So the best way, you're going to be typecasted, you're going to have to play towards just what you look at like, until there's enough work of yours out there for them to care about what's inside, and to switch that. So I think if you frown at typecasting and you say no to work, that can always work, of course. But, the way I took, and the only way that I can recommend is kind of the path I took, which is say no to nothing, say yes to everything. And, just work begets work, and see where you get in 5 years. And I think it's always a conversation for the next time, especially in today's world. So for new actors, especially, my advice is never say never.
And what does diversity and representation mean for you, and what is the significance of it to you?
I think the significance of representation is it makes this work mean something. And if it's not important, you always have to find, for me, I always have to find, why is it important? Why is it worth, getting up at 4 a.m.? How do you take away the what's the word? How do you take away the, feeling a identity crisis, or why are you doing this work? In the same way that FBI agents, for me, wake up every day and there's no existential crisis. There's no, why am I doing this? You know why you're doing this. You're protecting so many people. And for me, representing a line of work, or representing a culture, is important. So, for me, it's you finding what you're representing, if it's the bureau or if it's yourself or if it's your culture, and, making that the real meat, because then it's important. And then, the work is never dull.
And for the show of FBI, what was your preparation process for the role of Omar?
Oh, my preparation process for Omar was really great because of what we talked about earlier. I got to bring in a lot of myself. So it was very different than, getting a full character breakdown. It was, here's the character now. What should this character be? Help us get there. What are some things here and there that should be involved from your personal life? And, getting to sort of fall back on my own instincts in the character and not was a really exciting concept because of my lack of experience at a role this big. So I was really lucky that the preparation was, molding myself into some of the character. And then, of course, reading and talking to the FBI and just trying to pick up little things and working closely with our coordinators on set from the Bureau and things like that.
And for the show, your screen test was actually done on a Law and Order SBU set. What was that like, being able to be on that set?
It was incredible. I think my favorite part, besides, getting flown out and it being on the set and you feeling like you're that much closer to the role than if it was just another bigger audition in front of people. But, to prep for this, I watched SVU just on repeat, and, it was very surreal and very, I was very excited that we were doing it that way, because you just take out the room for imagination or if it not working. So I was really happy that we did it that intensely. And it was really cool. I mean, it was the first time I was on a set in New York, and that whole process was just so exciting.
And the role of Omar was originally written to be Latino, and then when you were casted for the role, it changed actually the ethnic and identity.
Yeah.
What was that like, being able to shift kind of the writing behind this character?
I mean, it was crazy. A Dick Wolf audition, regardless, for a lead is one of the most exciting sort of potential jobs in the industry. And, I always knew someone was going to have to take a chance, because I knew that the odds of me being directly what someone was imagining while writing a character before I was remotely familiar to anyone, I knew that was a long shot. So when I realized they were shifting it helped me, and it kind of relieved some pressure. And it was like, okay, I think we're all on the same page with what this means culturally, historically, and if we're all on board with the same things, then I know what fight we're fighting. And after doing a little bit more research into the Bureau and realizing there are Egyptian agents and there are, young and old, and kind of the diversity that I was cast to play, before I found out that was the reality, there was also pressures. But after learning everything, and kind of understanding the job we were meant to do and what our duty was to the audience and to everyone, it was incredibly, just a massive blessing and such a task that I was very excited and still am excited to kind of take on.
And what was it like being able to work with Dick Wolf?
Working with Dick is it's a legendary moment. He's very present for our pilot episodes and launching his shows. And then he has such a system around him that he trusts that, the machine just goes. So having him there for the pilot just made it feel, so much bigger and so much rarer, I guess, of an experience. But, it's a very lucky to have someone to fall back on who, knock on wood, doesn't get it wrong that many times. So, it was just him being involved, and for the potential of the future of the show and the career, you couldn't want anybody else.
And what can fans expect for the newest season of FBI?
For the newest season of FBI, I think fans, can expect a bigger world. I think each season the world kind of grows a little bit as we get more familiar with it ourselves, and kind of just as anything grows. Really excited about this so far. My what I'm realizing is everyone's getting a chance to really shine, and everyone's getting, some really good stuff. So it already, we're 3 episodes in, and it already feels like, a much more, put together sort of, our machine's running a lot better. So I think, more of the same, and hopefully some new and exciting, and hopefully everyone's just really entertained, and, bringing in COVID and BLM and sort of all these massive things that our characters technically went through as well. Just kind of, it's a whole new arena. So really excited about it.
And what is the filming process with the current COVID-19 epidemic?
The filming process is really intense. We're tested every single day. 3 tests a week are instant, and 2 tests a week are overnight tests. On set, everything's slowed down. Group B can't be on while Group A is, 6 feet, and all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, it's great. We're keeping everybody super safe, and the system we have is working. And also, as an actor, you get a little bit more time, and everything slows down. Wolf Productions film at a pace that takes you a year or 2 to even get used to. So getting to get used to that pace, and then getting that pace to slow down, it's great. More attention into the details, measure twice, cut once. So it's been really good. But hopefully, the testing slows down, and hopefully there's some normalcy that can kind of come back soon. But I think we're all wishing for the same thing on that one.
And in your opinion, without giving any spoilers, how has your character evolved throughout the seasons?
I think, without giving any spoilers, it's pretty simple. He's evolved kind of in the same way I've evolved as an actor. He just started in the FBI, and I just started as a lead, and just comfortability, and is really my biggest goal from season to season, is just to up that and to kind of reach a little bit more of range, and kind of bring a little bit more of me to the character as well. So I'm hoping all those things are, in this season, and I hope it's a little bit of a jump and stuff like that.
And my final question for you is, in your opinion, what can viewers learn from watching the show FBI?
I think what viewers can learn from watching the show is there is a difference in, the FBI and police and firefighters and everybody and all the different sort of groups. But they're also, so part of the same team. And I think what it comes down to is just us trying to show the world what the FBI is. The FBI is a institution that has its hand all over the world. It's not just protecting Americans. And the biggest thing is they're all not 6'2" white guys with aviators and suits. They're tattooed girls, there's gay and straight, there's every single ethnicity. And I think just how excited I got that I didn't know that I was still picturing Hoover's FBI, for instance, just made us really excited. And that's kind of our job. It's just to get kids excited again to join the FBI, and people to realize that, in the same excitement it was at one point, it is again, and it is still. And, our goal is just to get, people interested, and hoping that we can, just inspire some people to maybe even, take that path, or to, just be, better. I don't know. We'll see.